Well, Manchester United faced Manchester City Sunday in the Manchester derby. City obviously lost midweek versus Juventus in the Champions League, which prolongs their poor run of games of late. Incredibly, it now makes it 7 losses in their last 10 games, just 1 win in that time. Here's the reaction on the sports pages in England. City failed Turin test, from bad to worse. Juve got a fight now, Pep. And old lady 2, old men 0. Quite the burn in the top corner that you can see there. Let's hear what Pep Guardiola has had to say about it all after that game.
How frustrating is that it was defensive mistakes again that cost you?
No, I don't think it was defensive mistakes much. So that was not the reason today. Other games, yeah, not today, no. We missed the last pass when arrived in the 6-yard box and a penalty spot many times, and had the composure or especially shoot or make the good movement and assist. So that was the difference today, but we are the best. I love my team, the way we play, and the result is not going to convince me the opposite.
I think Ilkay Gundogan has said that he does feel there is a confidence issue in the team and maybe a mental one as well. Did you see any of that today? I know yesterday you were saying that there's no confidence.
I'm not agree with Ilkay. I think of course it's tough when you prove it, and except 1 or 2 games in this period that was not good. The rest we play quite similar. I give credit to Juventus. Congratulations for the way they defend, for the transitions they did it. But we were incredible, aggressive in our high pressing. We won the long balls. The back four was really, really good. Of course, it's a cross, and Vlahovic is strong in that position. But the way we played, I'm really pleased.
Well, I was going to go and get Jan's reaction, because obviously we had Ale and Frank on last night, but Frank's reaction to what Pep was saying there has warranted me to go to you first, Frank.
Yeah, I think it's nice to defend your players. It's nice to be optimistic, but really, we didn't see the same game. I mean, it's that team that we saw is so far away from the team that we saw lately for the past 5 years. I mean, even last year at the beginning of the season, they struggled, but they had the quality to react in December and showed their talent. Now they're so far away again from that, and I can't understand what Pep is saying. I mean, you have to change your speech, I think, at a certain point, because the team didn't play well. They are like very slow in the last third. They don't create anything. Some players are in the leash, and we're going to talk about Grealish. I mean, when he first came from Aston Villa to City, he was the guy creating something. Like Doku is the only one creating something. The other, they don't create. They keep the ball. They don't want to lose the ball, so they don't create anything. And we have nobody in the middle of the park. And defensively, except Ruben Dias, my God. Oh my God, that's impossible. Where is Walker? Where is the Walker that I used to see and I don't see anymore? Maybe he's too old, I don't know, but that's not the Walker I used to know. That's so far away from there. So I'm sorry, Pep, I love you. You may be the best coach in the world, but stop defending your players because they're not there. They're not doing what they used to do.
Yeah, Jan wincing then when he heard mention of Ruben Dias. That will be later in extra time, and we'll be talking about that as well. But Jan, your reaction to what we saw from Manchester City in their latest loss?
Yeah, latest losses. The one thing about Pep, Frank, is that I've been working with him. I've done so many interviews with him. He is like this when they lose. I mean, he is mild. He supports his players. That's just the way he's doing it. But just know he's doing it every week because they're losing all the time. It's quite interesting to analyze, because it's hard. I'm thinking a lot of great teams that I've seen over my young life, but I can't remember any team who has gone from being so good to being so bad. There are, of course, many different reasons. Frank gave some of them. You did some in your show last night. But first of all, it seems that when I interview, I have expert English pundits, and I say they're not running enough. The midfield, they're not running back. What is that all about? And I'm desperate to look for metaphors to see what's going on at Manchester City. I'm a big Formula One fan. And it's like if you see some of the cars, if you see something is wrong with Max Verstappen's car, there is something, there is a block somewhere, because you can't believe. Remember, they started the season quite good, and we thought, wow, they're going to go for it again. Then they had 2-3 games where they won, but still played bad. And now they more or less have played bad all the time. And Pep can say as much as he wants, but there is no creativity, there is no running, there is none goal scorers except Erling, the rest of them not scoring goals, and so on and so on. And I don't think that they've been young players to old players in 4 weeks. That doesn't happen. So there is something, maybe Gundogan is closer to the truth than Pep will give him confidence of, because there is something going on there. There's something wrong in the kingdom of Manchester City.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up with you, Ali, because obviously this is a reaction afterwards, and that's something after last night's show, is what Pep was saying, that he disagrees with İlkay Gundogan, saying there is a confidence issue in the dressing room. Whose side are you on here?
Well, not on Pep Guardiola's side. And I don't think he believes what he's saying. It's part of having to protect the players. He feels that he has to protect the players, but the players know. Gundogan knows. Those guys in the locker room, they know. They feel it. They sense it, and they're living it on the field. Out there on the field, where it counts, where it matters, they're living it themselves. They're going through it themselves. And for years upon years upon years, this group of players, everything seemingly has been so easy because of how good they have been, individually and as a group. And every pass seemed easy, and every decision seemed easy, and every chance and every opportunity, and they were always in control. When they were at their best, always in control. Now everything is hard, and I mean difficult, and every pass is difficult, and defending is difficult, and finishing chances is difficult, and creating opportunities is difficult. And I don't think, as a group and individually, they know how to react to it. And I don't think that Pep Guardiola himself knows how to react to it. Because much like us, I think all of them are shocked that they have fallen off so quickly and so deep and so far off from what they once were. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to deal with it. And it's when you've been so successful, when everything has been so good for you, when it so quickly goes so bad, man, that momentum is difficult to stop. And you're pumping the brakes, baby. You're pumping the brakes, and nothing is working. And so you go back to the most basic thing that you can do, and it's something that Jan alluded to. Run! Work! Grind! That's one thing that you know you can do. You can grind, you can work, you can run. Do that first. And then after you do that, then go back to passing and go back to creating chances. But until you don't establish rock bottom, which they have hit, you got to establish, how do we get out of here? And the first thing that you got to do is survive. You survive first, and then you thrive.
So it's back to basics, Frank.
Yeah, it's a basic, but the basics, you have to learn them in order to repeat them. And I think the process of running is not part of what Guardiola taught the players to do. He taught them to press high, to get the ball back very, very, very high on the field, and as soon as they lost the ball, and to score goals. But they don't have the talent that De Bruyne used to have, Bernardo Silva used to have, the other Silva used to have, Gundogan used to have, of course Rodri is not there, where they were so high on the field, they were getting the ball back so often, 80%, 90%, that they didn't have to run. They don't know how to run. They're not used to run, and it's not a reflex for them to run, because as soon as they lose the ball now, they have a counter-attack. And they are in danger, but they're not used to. And we can see, I was talking about Walker. Walker is not used to run backwards. Walker is used to run forward. And that's what it is. That's the main problem. If you don't score goals when you have the ball, if you don't finish your actions, and if you don't get the ball back as soon as you lost it, because of Manchester City and because the way you used to be, you are in danger now.
But it's interesting, and just a last point on that. I want to be quick with that, because you have to ask teams that you win in the Premier League 4 years in a row. I mean, you do everything. And remember, last season we gave them compliment the hunger they had to win football games. I mean, this is last season. This is just some few months ago. And then you have to ask, where is the hunger now? Can a coach then go into the dressing room and say, where is your hunger now? We learned the stories about Sir Alex Ferguson, went into them, I need more, I need more, I need more. I think Pep is doing that. But I think that Pep is confused as well now, because when you lose so many games, it's not that you lost 2, you're losing a lot of games, then you kind of, the tools, of course, Pep is saying this to us in the press conference. He's saying that to me in an interview, but he's talking differently in the dressing room. I think that he has used a lot of tools now, and he's a bit confused now what tool the next to use.